Welcome to another episode of Brains and Banter. Tokwe, what are we talking about today?
Oh, today we are just talking about exams, exams. Strategies that we've used and what we also think we can share with you guys to use.
I feel like students really hate exams. Why do you think so?
I was one of the students that hated exams.
Same.
It's one of those times where you just have to sit and start thinking of, oh, what are the lecturers taught us, reading. I don't like sitting there in one place. So I think, that, and the world too, because we have a lot of distractions, and all of those things happen to be what we want to be doing instead of reading theories that we cannot directly see the results.
I feel like, are you a last minute crammer or you're someone who starts from the beginning of the semester to read every single day?
Definitely you'll find me doing last minute things. I'm always sitting on the last.
I feel like I'm a 2 weeks or 3 weeks to exam kind of girl. I will start really studying. I'd have been attending classes, but I'll start really studying 2 weeks or 3 weeks to exam. Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. It depends on what works for you.
Yeah. Actually.
So yeah.
So, what do you think some study techniques are? Personally, I always feel like nobody has really heard about this, but I like to talk about the traffic light technique, and I feel like nobody really knows. What are your best study techniques?
Honestly, I'm more on just being practical on what works for you because I know there are a lot of techniques and a lot of things that are out there to guide you,
Yeah.
but necessarily you might pick from some and pick from another. So it's just a matter of doing everything you need to use and picking, what works for you.
Yeah, that makes sense. Are you a reading, writing notes or doing past questions?
No, I do all of the above. So one thing that prepares me well for exams, I go to classes. So when I
Okay.
listen, I pick more from listening. So that's who I am. So I know I pick more from listening. So I'm always there where I need to listen. And so when I now get to read for exams, I'm just trying to, in tune with myself, what I've read, trying to put everything together. And that's what I do when I'm reading. So I'm with my paper, I'm reading, I'm jotting down things that I need to definitely note. And that's like how I just manage it. How do you do yours?
Me, I feel like one of my major study techniques, and I feel like this is something that has carried me through school, is like I said, the traffic light technique. And when I talk about school, I always like, what is that? But it's just like grouping my course outline. So I would group them into red, yellow, and green, like the literal traffic lights. And that's red is like topics that if it comes out in exam, I am finished because I don't know anything. Yellow is like I can still answer. I might not get all the marks, but I know that I might not panic too much. Green is like, God, please let them bring out this topic. I am ready for this lecturer. Let him just bring out this topic. So before exam, I try to take all my red topics into yellow, all my yellow topics into green. So by the end of my study time, like before exams, all my course outline topics, everything is in green. So I'm basically ready. Even if everything's not in green, maybe just two or one is in yellow. So I feel like that's one of the major things. And also past questions, because past questions are it's like a glimpse into exactly what you would see. So I don't understand students that don't use past questions because what are you doing?
I also don't understand. I think your strategy of the traffic light techniques is actually a cool one because we all know, what we want to know. There's always when exam is coming, lecturer should bring this out.
Yeah.
And having to be able to put all of them, where so what you need to read more on and all of that instead of just and I agree with past questions because it's the best for me. Before I even start reading, I'm going to the past
Actually,
questions.
to see, yeah,
because I want to know how lecturers set the questions, and from there I started reading because I was also not a past question person before, but I learned the hard way, and in the sense that I'll read, but it's just general, and then I'll get to the exam, and I'm like,
everybody's happy, like,
Yeah.
2005 marks.
everybody, even I'll feel like, no, I know this thing, but to put it down, I'm not putting it down exactly because I didn't practice with the questions I'm going to answer in mind. So I'm just doing surface reading. I don't know what exactly I need to stress read, what exactly I just need to know,
Yeah.
and that's what past questions does for you because it points you in the right direction. Get to see how your lecturers think, you know what they want to test you on. So when you are reading, you know what you need to actually take note of. You know what exactly are the bullet points you need to be jotting down, and not just everything. But that is why I would advise anybody if you are doing your exams, first go to the past questions, just see how the questions are being set, then go into like your reading, and then come back to practice and see how much you need.
What do you think the best practices for the exam day is? Like the actual, I feel like one of the reasons why a lot of people fail exams is not because they've not read. It's just that the anxiety and the panic on that day of the exam, you just start forgetting all you've read. Or that day, that's when you now want to start cramming what you've not crammed before. So what do you think students should do on the day of the exam? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, exactly. Is preparations that prepare you for the exam day. So anxiety is always going to be there, but you can minimize it if you are well prepared. And it won't help you do you a favor if you are doing last day jacking, especially if it's not your thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Because last minute is only my thing because I already listen in class, so I already have some knowledge background, so I can just layer on that and read more. But if you're not that type of person and you're just doing last minute, definitely it's not going to work. And last minute is not also going to work for everything. So like I also don't do last minute for all my exams. There are
Exactly. Some courses you
yeah,
can.
because you just can't. Like
Yeah.
in engineering, you did a lot of calculations. So I can't just be last day trying to learn one, formula or that I've not used. And one thing you get to know is if you don't really practice some of those things, you think you know it, but you get to the exam and then you just one line and then you're just frozen because you actually did not do it yourself. So it will do you a lot of good to prepare. I'll say that's the best thing. You need to prepare well. You don't need to do like all overnight reading and no sleep.
That's the worst thing you would do on your exam day.
Yeah,
Not sleep. If you think you can go to your exam sleep deprived,
Yeah.
sorry for you.
I've tried it before. I'll tell
terrible.
you, it's not a good
I
thing
have
to
to
do.
sleep, I have to eat.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
the hunger pangs is almost as if when I'm writing exams and I'm hungry, the hunger is like, I will kill you today. I'll finish it today. So I have to eat before I actually sit down with my judgments and start writing.
Definitely. So do everything you need to do to prepare, including emptying your bladder. It's also very important.
Yeah.
Because if you just get to
And
the
don't
exam
eat
and
any
everything,
concoction the night before your exam.
no.
Hey.
Yeah, you want to eat things. It's like you're traveling. I always give the same advice. Because when you're traveling, you don't want to eat anything that will upset you. It's also the same with the exam. You just want to eat what you know goes well with your system.
Yeah.
And then go into the exam, just with that prep, you are well rested, you are well prepared. There'll still be some things you think you don't know well, you don't just try to, silence the noise and just get to like what you know and just do your best. That's all you can at that point.
That's great. I think that will be all for today's podcast. Guys, let me know in the comment section what was your worst exam experience and maybe what was your best exam experience. See you in the next one. Bye.
Bye, guys.